Kevin the Cube has finally returned, and with him he has brought a lot of secrets. So we're going to be going through all of these secret things, secret stuff related to the story, secret hiding spots, all of that stuff in today's video. Alright guys, welcome back to another video, and yes guys, leave a like down below if you are excited that Kevin the Cube is finally back. It's been about an entire year almost, which is crazy to think that our old buddy has been gone that long. But hey, he's finally back, and again, he's brought so many secrets that we're going to be covering all of the changes and things like that. We're going to be going over it in today's video, so be sure to watch until the end so you know all of the secret stuff. And also guys, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button down below, as well as comment, were you there for the original Kevin the Cube event where he was floating around as an island? You know I was, but I want to see if you guys were as well. And as always guys, if you want to help support me, be sure to use code TheLlamaSir. But without further ado, let's jump on into it with the first thing here. And this is just a simple quick one that you may already know, but for those of you who do not know about it, that's why I wanted to start off with a little bit of an easy one. And that is the fact that we're still unsure if the island is actually moving. It seems to be in a very weird spot starting out over here towards the west side of Fatal Fields. And in fact, if you're watching this at a later date, you can compare it to this location right here and see if it has in fact moved. But I find it very odd that it would start in that location. However, at the same exact time, this is the location that it was also, I'm pretty sure, shown at. I mean, it's pretty close together, but where it is shown in that one loading screen for technically next week. So that is odd. Is it going to continue to move around the map similar to how it did in what season was that? It was a while ago, but the time it went around the map. However, it's definitely possible that that could be what it's doing. I mean, it's floating in the air. How could it not go around the map? It's also very interesting that this is the version of the cube before it split apart and, you know, caused the whole butterfly event in the first place. So it does beg the question, is Kevin going to continue to do stuff in season 10? Is he going to move around, cause similar crazy things, be a driving force for the season 10 story? A lot of questions to ask, but maybe we'll save that for another video. But yeah, I'm curious to see if he'll move around. Alright guys, but moving on here to the next thing, I wanted to actually go into game to show you this one because we got to explore the island a little bit. This one is a secret loot spot that's actually probably the best loot spot to land at if you're landing at this location. There's an alright amount of loot on the island. There's not like a whole ton compared to like other locations, but if you know this one spot, it's a good place to start out at, and it's fairly hidden for sure. So let's go ahead and get into the rift. Which one's probably closest? Honestly, none of these are close. Let's just go into Dusty Depot. Alright guys, but yeah, as we're gliding in here, say you know you're gliding towards the island in one of your matches, what you would want to do is head right up towards the top of the house and actually go inside of this semi-truck right here. You know, it seems a little bit, you know, hidden, like there's not much here, especially since you see these boxes. But if you break those boxes very simply, you can see that there is a double chest spawn that can happen right here. So obviously that is very good for getting loot. You can open up both of those. We got a lot of vaulted items since we're in Playground. Oh man, the Porta Fortress and the double barrel. Good times. Well, I guess the double barrel isn't vaulted anymore, but the Porta Fortress, that is a throwback for sure. Toss it all the way down there. There you go. But yeah, after that, then you can then just break this right here, get a little bit of metal, and then go right down into the attic. Find another chest right there, and then you get some high ground to maybe find some people, you know, going for chests or loot around here. There's some chest spawns on the back over here too. You can maybe try and get some eliminations, some quick ones after that. You know, a chest right there. There's a chest inside of the top of that building. Not a whole ton of loot in the pool area, but you know, you might be able to pick off some people and get some quick eliminations, especially if you're in arena. That equals some shield very quickly. After that then though, let's talk about something that's pretty interesting for the story. Obviously, if you take a look at the island itself, it's mixed up with a bunch of other stuff from the past as well. The most obvious things are the motel, considering that you have the motel sign in the pool area, and I think one of the buildings from the motel as well, or maybe a couple of the buildings mixed into this island. But again, that's the obvious stuff. The less obvious stuff is the things like the, well, for one, the Der Burger. What is the Der Burger doing over here? Well, again, this could be a reference towards Greasy Grove being the next location to return. If you missed one of my recent videos, this one right here, we talked a bunch about this, and don't worry guys, I will leave a link to that down below in the description for you to check out. Be sure to do so. It's a great video. But there was things pointing towards Greasy Grove returning soon, and the fact that the Der Burger, which was, you know, the mascot of the restaurant that was inside of Greasy Grove, it's pretty peculiar because they had to have done that on purpose. Also, if you add to that the fact that the Nom sign is on this building and that location already returned in Retail Row, it's an interesting thing to take note of for sure. Now Now, I know what you may be thinking. Well, isn't this the one that showed up near Pleasant Park? And it is in fact the same one, the one with like the drift tag on it, which is peculiar for a couple of reasons because one, that is already still on the map, so where did this one come from? But then on top of that, however, this still could definitely be a reference to Greasy Grove because if you remember, that one from Pleasant Park was originally from the Greasy Grove restaurant anyways. So yeah, I do think that's a little bit of a hint towards Greasy Grove returning in probably the next Rift Zone. That would be my guess. Again, that's unconfirmed, but I think it's a likely guess. However, guys, there's one other thing that I find very interesting that's up on top of here as well, and that is this sign right here. As you can see, it's like a lodge sign, and it's very out of place, so to say, among the other stuff. And it makes me wonder why this is indeed here in the first place, because that same sign can be found inside of Lonely Lodge. As you can see right here, it's the same exact sign. This is the one that's near like the creek inside of Lonely Lodge. So why would it then be at the Kevin the Cube Island? That doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. So unless I'm missing some, you know, random location where this sign happened to be at that disappeared in one of the recent seasons, maybe it's pointing towards Lonely Lodge being one of the next Rift Zones, which would make sense. Lonely Lodge has been around for a very long time, and there hasn't been a Rift Zone in that general area yet, besides sort of Retail Row, but that's kind of far away. So it could be a good possibility, and that could be a clue pointing towards it. But yeah, be sure to leave your comments on what you think about that down below. After that then, guys, let's talk about a secret spot. Now, you may know about this secret spot, but if you don't, it's definitely a very interesting one. I've used it in like some situations to actually get eliminations or like save myself, maybe hide out and get some heals, or just to have fun with. It's one of those like random spots that's just kind of cool to know about. So basically, this hiding spot is down near the bottom. You want to go under the main island portion right here and go inside of the cave. But this isn't the secret spot. Obviously, you know, this is pretty straightforward. The secret spot is actually up there. So if we put a ramp and climb on up, or whoops, I put it the wrong way. You actually want to put it this way. You can also get that chest if you want, but if you put it like that, you can also put a wall to maybe block it off. Hide a little bit what you're doing. You can crouch walk all the way up here, and you're in this pretty hidden spot. Nobody's going to notice you up here. Is like, if they're chasing you into this cave and you go up here, they're going to maybe think you're behind this wall, but even then, you know, you can peek on down, get some shots on them, and it's just a great spot to know about, and also one that you can like show your friends and mess around with, maybe do some emotes or something like that. It looks pretty funny. You're like halfway through. But yeah, just a cool little spot that I think you guys should know about. Keeping it going here with the next thing I want to show you guys. This is a sort of just random secret. And also this bush is kind of funny. It's like halfway in the ground. Getting a little distracted. But yeah, this is like a secret like jump spot, so to say. It's not this one right here. This is technically a jump spot too. But there's an even more secret one. I think it's, I'm trying to remember where it is. I think it's over here, right? Yeah, there it is. Basically, there is a fire hydrant right here that is fairly hidden because it's like a dirty fire hydrant. Usually they're bright red and you know where they are, but since it's a fire hydrant, you can go up to it, do a little bit of damage to it, and it opens up, and that means you can bounce on top of it. So yeah, a little bit of a random thing, but maybe, you know, if you're building like right here, you can go for a crazy trick shot using that right there, or just jump off like that for style points and then fly around the island like this. You can even fly all the way down and bounce off the cube, which is always fun. Oh, I destroyed a tree too. But yeah, that's just kind of a funny little secret. And again, let's glide on down there and just start bouncing on the fire hydrant. It's just kind of a fun thing, you know? So yeah, I wanted to show that to those of you who weren't aware of that. But getting back into it, guys, I wanted to show you something real quick. This one is just a funny thing to show you. But basically, if you're at the island, you want to head over to this, I think it's this area, right? Yeah, the northern part of the island, as long as it doesn't like rotate or anything like that. But if you head down to this boat right here, I'm pretty sure this is the same boat as from before when this island was floating around. It's also got like the sign on it and the stop sign over here. But on top of that, it has a fish right inside of here, which is pretty funny because if you actually emote in front of it, it's one of those fishes that actually dances around with you, which is just kind of a funny little Easter egg that you may not know about. It even plays some music as well. So again, just a funny little Easter egg that I thought I would show you about this island being back here. But then moving on, guys, to the final thing I want to talk about with this island. This is another story thing that specifically has to do with the visitor. And actually, if you missed my video yesterday, we talked a little bit about that stuff. That's a very good video as well. I'll leave that in the description too. But something that I just couldn't help but wonder is why the visitor brought back the cube and how he brought back the cube. For one, how did he even know that the cube existed in the first place if in the storyline he left way before the cube even showed up on the map? Overall, it's just a little bit odd, right? And I mean, there have been some theories that that the visitor was behind the cube in the very first place, and that could be actually more supported by this. But way back when we saw like the pink lightning, you know, create the cube or teleport the cube, whatever it did, that seemed to be similar to a rift, but we never really knew where the cube actually came from. So is this like some weird confirmation that the cube is actually from wherever the visitor is from, or that the visitor knows where it is? I'm not exactly sure, but it is something to, you know, take note of and think about. And if you guys have ideas, leave them down below in the comments. Maybe we'll have to make a separate video on it. We're definitely getting close to like where the crazy stuff is going to start happening in the story, and all of these random rift zones are going to start making sense because we still haven't gotten confirmation as to why these rift zones are being created by the visitor. We know that the visitor is creating them, but again, why? All of that in and of itself is still a mystery, so I'm excited to see, you know, what comes of it all, especially since we're almost towards the week 6 challenges, which if you didn't know, my guide for those challenges is coming out on Thursday, so be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. And actually guys, speaking of which, if you're a fan of these videos or challenge videos, feel free to subscribe for more fun videos like this coming out in the near future, because that is going to be it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Be sure to check out some of my previous videos on the screen as well. Some of the ones that we talked about in the video are here that you can just go ahead and click on as a card, and it'll bring you right to them. But again guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I will see you in the next one.